Welcome to the Social Sector Franchise video series. This video will explain why contracts between franchisors and franchisees are crucial. Why have contracts? Contracts establish rules for how people interact when they engage in an activity together. For example, we have rules for sports like how to keep score, where the boundaries are, etc. So all players know how to play. Think about driving a car. There are established rules for how fast we can go, when to stop, etc. Without rules, drivers, passengers, and pedestrians can get hurt. You can think of a franchise agreement as a contract that establishes the set of rules governing how the franchisor and franchisees interact with each other. Do contracts have to be in writing? When a contract involves money and long-term activity, it's best to put it in writing to help prevent arguments, since parties may remember rules differently. A written contract makes it much easier to keep the rules consistent with each franchisee. This lays the foundation for the consistent execution of the brand for customers. In the case of a social franchise, if franchisees can't read, the franchisor may need to minimize words and make use of visual graphics on paper, supplemented by verbal communication. How long should a franchise contract be? Commercial franchise contracts tend to be long and detailed. We don't recommend making them as complex for social franchises, but strongly recommend contracts be put in place. Whether it's a commercial or social sector franchise, three big factors affecting how long and complex a contract will be include: the type of franchised business, the profile of the typical franchisee, how long the contract will last. Here are key elements of commercial franchise contracts that social franchises should consider. Trademark license. Every commercial franchise agreement starts with granting the franchisee the right to use the trademark that identifies the franchise. Because the trademark is owned by the franchisor, a franchisee needs permission to use it. The contract gives that permission and sets limits on the franchisee's use. Territories. Franchise contracts typically specify where the franchise will be located, if the business is one where customers come to the location, such as a retail store. If the business is one where the franchisee goes to the customer's location, such as home plumbing repair, the contract typically defines the area in which the franchisee can operate. Fees and expenses. The contract specifies what the franchisee will pay the franchisor to participate in the network. This may include an upfront fee, an ongoing fee or royalty, marketing fee, technology fee, purchases of inventory, rent for property or equipment, or other things. These fees are how the commercial franchisor makes its money, enough to support growth and operation of the network and to provide a return on the franchisor's investment. The contract provides estimates of the franchisee's costs to operate the business as well. Franchisor and franchisee obligations. The contract lists the franchisor's commitments for support and assistance to the franchisee, such as training, supplying equipment or inventory, coordinating marketing, and updating brand standards and operational procedures. Similarly, the contract lists the franchisee's commitments, the most important of which is to comply with the brand standards established by the franchisor. Brand standards are usually communicated in an operations manual, or in the case of a social franchise where the franchisee may not be able to read, brand standards are conveyed using visual graphics and discussion with the franchisee. Duration of the contract. The contract typically has an expiration date and defines situations where one of the parties can terminate the contract before that date. It will spell out the franchisee's duties to stop using the trademark, return confidential information, and take other actions to disconnect from the brand when the contract ends. Please continue to our next video to view examples of two social franchises whose contracts share these key elements.